Hey traders, Raghee here, and in tonight's free video from Trade Forex Futures, we're going to talk about actually a couple of recent profits we've taken off the table as the loonie actually went ahead and had a nice sell-off after a little bit of hesitancy thanks to Stephen Pillow's this afternoon. So we had two big events for the pairs that I've been looking at, and one of them was the pound loonie trade we've had open for some time. The other was the loonie yen as well as the dollar loonie. And you'll notice that I've been selling Canadian dollar, the loonie, as often as I can. That's been a big part of what we've been doing in the trading room and the longer term trades that we've been taking. And we're finally starting to slowly get out of them because we're hitting levels within the trend where we're seeing not as clear a picture of loonie weakness as we've seen in the past. So when we get a day like today, when we get a day that we can see the loonie actually weakening, whether it be the loonie yen, where we took the 91.05 level off the table, or it be something like the dollar loonie, where again we're trying to take advantage of that Canadian dollar weakness in trends where the quality really isn't as good as it has been. We're seeing in a lot of these uptrends where the loonie is the second currency, the uptrend is starting to put in lower highs, and the wave is starting to get a little shaky, and we're getting more a frequent occurrence of blue grab candles. These are all those very nuanced warnings before we could see a transition. Now, even if we transition, I'm still interested in the trend that was, which means I'm not going to suddenly become a loonie bull. I'm just going to be a little bit more discriminating in how much of a correction I'm willing to buy into. So I may be looking at distribution fades on some of these pairs where I was looking at swing buys. But ultimately we had a really great day for not only loonie weakness, which has been the tomato can, which has been a driver of many of our trades, but also in the Canadian dollar versus the British pound here, as you can see. So that Canadian dollar sell was a big part of the driver. But if I could get base currency strength by way of, say, the British pound here, and you look at the remainder of the book where I have positions in the euro versus the loonie, where on that loonie weakness, look at that, 150, the 155 handle, we're actually hitting a brand new multi-year high on the euro loonie, a pair that we've been long in for some time. As you can see, we haven't hit these highs since actually 2010 in this pair. So I'm taking some profits off the table. I'm not completely flattening out of my loonie sells, although I am flat in the loonie yen now because we're right down near support where I may be much more wary of whether or not the bears are really going to continue to pressure that pair. So you can notice we're completely out of that loonie yen, but you can see we still have positions in the Aussie loonie, euro loonie, pound loonie, and dollar loonie. I'm still taking advantage of that trade. And going into tomorrow, obviously, the dollar loonie is going to be in play, although my suspicion is we could definitely put a floor in the dollar if Yellen wants to come and defend that taper, which would definitely be, at least, I won't say dollar bullish per se, but it will be supportive of the dollar. And the fact that the U.S. dollar has not broken down through that 79.36.5 low from October 25th of last year bodes pretty well for the fact that there is a lot of hesitancy to sell the dollar from here. In other words, we've gotten down here, and I will say that it's not, it's not a big move in terms of hitting any kind of new level. Let's just remember, we're still in a choppy range. Okay, we haven't hit anywhere new, but to say that you want to be a seller here at the top of the range, or through 81, or even through 80, is still a different kind of mentality to short these areas versus shorting the market down here right up against those October lows. So here is where I think the bulls are actually going to make a stand, and they're going to want some company, and that means Janet Yellen's going to come in and confirm her pace and size of taper is still on track, and that will help. I'm not going to say we're going to see a sudden rally, but it could just solidify these lows, and that would still give me a chance to benefit in pairs like the dollar loonie where the loonie could weaken against a stable dollar, and it can continue to let me benefit in a pair like the euro loonie, where all the heaviness in the dollar has given us a little bit of strength in the euro, and the loonie's weakness just continues this trend higher. So that's tonight's video, and we will pick up the management levels, price movement ranges, and trades that I am looking for going into tomorrow for the Fed and for the MPC. Let's not forget. We'll take a look at that in the premium video.